What are your thoughts
Yeah,
about this? We haven't had an event where 4 players could win the candidates in the final round in quite some time. Does it, as a competitor, we know how you felt in general about classical chess, about maybe the formats perhaps needing a rethink. You've been public about that with your actions, of course, no longer competing in the cycle. But when you see the type of excitement that's happening in the last round here, Magnus, just purely as a competitor, does that make you want to jump back in at all? Or what are your thoughts just about how the format has delivered here, at least in terms of having an exciting last round?
no, but the candidates is always good.
Yeah.
And the thing about the candidates is that, I mean, it's been like talked about before, but only first place matters. And so people sort of have to go crazy,
Yeah.
and play for the win all the time. In other events, people may think more about their rating, not take so many chances, and it often leads to more boring games. I'm still like shocked at the amount of decisive games, and some of that is creativity in the opening. Some of that is fighting spirit, and some of it is amazing
Blunder.
skill by great players. But still, yeah, the candidates has never really been the problem in that sense. Like the candidates are always like, it's grueling for the players, but it's great for the fans.
Mm-hmm. And it's been great for the commentators. Magnus, I had sort of a couple of topics, and I'll narrow it down to 2. You can, take it in either direction. My first question was just about sort of general trends that you notice. First of all, in terms of openings, and you just broached that topic, but also in terms of playing style, time management, interesting things you saw in the candidates that maybe in this year's candidates, when compared, for example, to last year's candidates or the last couple of years, any changes that you see? And the second related topic was in terms of the younger generation, these very exciting Indian players. We can put Noterbek in that category, maybe Faruja. So not just the players who participated in the candidates, what do they need to do to move on to the next level? Do you see any clearly defined sort of areas that they could work on, or directions, ways that they could take their game to the next level? It's already on the next level, but closer to 2,800.
Yeah, I think Gukesh is probably a bit stronger than both myself and others realized. I think the thing about Gukesh is that he's still very young, and he can look really vulnerable at times, and he's also not very good at speed chess, which is sort of, it can confuse, and he's not as high profile as some other youngsters, which is confusing. But I mean, he's proven this in this tournament that he's very strong. In terms of trends in openings, it's been surprising to see how much life there's been. Like, of course, it's a problem that you cannot play the best openings anymore, and you sort of have to search everywhere to look for something. The thing is also, people will not play the best openings as black, which helps you quite a lot as white, and people will not play them because they are not only trying to block like they would in a world championship match, or frankly a lot of round robin top level events. So that does make for exciting games. And honestly, the level of creativity in the openings from most of the players, with a couple of notable exceptions, has been remarkable. So I'm really impressed with that. And in terms of the young players, I don't know. I think they're on the right track. I don't think that any of them are quite ready to be like a clear number 1 in the world anytime soon. But there aren't many players are ever going to be like that. So I don't know. I don't want to give them advice or anything. Like Gukesh actually asked me in Germany in Weissenhaus after a tournament that what he should do in the candidates, and I said, well, I don't have any good advice. I don't know. I only said that he should not go crazy, and he should just look for his chances because other people will go crazy. And I don't know. I don't think that advice was helpful at all. I just think he's played very well.
These are fascinating thoughts, Magnus. I wonder about the comment you made that Gukesh and the young players are probably not the best players in the world yet, if I'm reading into that correctly. Do you feel like that's inherently a problem if you end up in a situation where a tournament can create a match between two people who are objectively maybe not the best two players in the world at the time? Like, it's both exciting that the candidates is delivering, but what would you say about that? If Gukesh is really not maybe ready for a world championship match, is there something that should be addressed in that, or is that just part of the fun?
You can't have everything in chess. Like, I've long argued that the world championship system we have is not a good way to find out who the best chess player is. Like, there are way too few games, it's too random, but it's also a sporting event. But you have a situation where, like, if you assume for instance that Corona is the best player in the field, which, judging by the last 10-12 years, seems it seems reasonable to assume that. Even so, he's probably only going to win this tournament 1 out of 4 times,
right?
And then the best players are not necessarily, it's just the way it is. The best players are not necessarily going to play in the world champion, and that's why we sort of have to take it for what it is. Like, it is the world champion. It's not a competition necessarily for who is going to be the best player in the world. Like, I was classical world champion for a few years, but that was not the reason why I was the best player in the world. It was because I had the highest rating and I was winning a lot of tournaments. Like, it was just one of the things. So again, it just depends on what you want. If you want to make sure that the best player is going to win, you probably need to have shorter time controls and a lot more games. Yeah, that would significantly increase the likelihood that best chess player wins. If you want to increase the sporting intrigue and so on, then the system we have is not a bad way. We should just not conflate the two.
Okay.